Yo, what's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up, we have a fun show planned for you guys today. We're going to be taking a look at the updated NFC Playoff Picture as Tommy DeVito beat those grimy Green Bay Packers last night on Monday Night Football, which totally helped the Vikings' playoff chances. And then also, we're going to be diving into the Ivan Pace hype as it just continues and continues to grow, as he is absolutely living up to the hype that we heard out of rookie training camp, that carried on to training camp, then carried on to the preseason. He's been absolutely blowing my expectations of him out of the water. And then also, who is QB1 for the Vikings versus the Bengals? I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on that here in a second. But I have a little challenge from my bosses today. They said, hey, Seeps, let's see if we can pick up 10 new subscribers on today's video. So if you guys want to help me out and honestly save me from a bad meeting with my bosses, I would really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Lock us in as your go-to Vikings YouTube channel. There's a ton of other Vikings channels that do great work, but I promise you, you won't regret it if you check out ours and hit that sub button. Let's see if we can just get 10 of you guys that are new here to hit that button. But let's dive into it. The NFC Playoff Picture as it stands right now. After the Packers did lose to Tommy DeVito and the New York Giants last night, they are down to 6-7 as their overall record. And then there is five teams actually sitting at 6-7 right now, or six teams sitting at 6-7 in the NFC, which are the Rams, the Seahawks, the Falcons, the Saints, and the Buccaneers. And the Vikings are obviously slated in there at that sixth spot. And listen, right now, if I'm looking at it, I would probably put my money on it that the Vikings do end up making the playoffs this year, but obviously it is so jumbled up there from that 6th seed to obviously in the hunt at the bunch of 6 and 7 teams. So it's not going to be easy, but I do think the Vikings have a good chance. And how sweet was it last night? I don't know if you guys watched the Giants-Packers game, but Tommy DeVito absolutely outdueling Jordan Love on Monday Night Football after I was a little scared that Jordan Love was going to be a franchise quarterback. Absolutely made me super enthused, and it was just great to watch. So the Packers got DeVito'd last night. You just love to see it. But as it stands right now, the Vikings' chance to make the playoffs are sitting at 62%. And actually a fun fact. So I've been saying this a lot where if the Vikings want to win the division, they're going to have to beat the Lions twice. Well, actually with the Lions losing to the Bears, they don't necessarily have to. So here's the situation. The Lions, the last 4 games are the Broncos, Cowboys, and the Vikings twice. If they lose to the Broncos and the Cowboys, and let's just say we split with the Lions and the Vikings win out, or the Vikings go 3-1 and lose one to the Lions, the Vikings can still win the NFC North. So they don't necessarily need to win out and control their own destiny. As long as the Lions lose to the Broncos and Cowboys, we can still split with the Lions and take the North. But in terms of this upcoming week against the Bengals, this Saturday at noon, we are going to be live for that game. So make sure you guys are subscribed. A win would be huge. A win would get us to nearly 78% chance to make the playoffs, but a loss would bring us down to about 50-50. So it's not the most extreme kind of change in odds here, but still, a win almost pretty much locks you in for the playoffs. I really do think it would take a collapse for the Vikes if they do win this weekend and not make the playoffs. But here's upcoming schedule, like I was just mentioning. So if the Vikings do beat the Bengals and the Vikings do beat the Packers and split with the Lions, as long as the Lions lose to the Broncos and Cowboys, which, could definitely happen. The Vikings could still win the NFC North, which would be awesome. And could you imagine if Nick Mullens is hosting a freaking playoff game for this group? Would be absolutely incredible. But will the Vikings make the playoffs? This would be the pinned comment on today's show. Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I'm going to be typing my Ys. I better see a ton of Ys down there. You guys better let me know your thoughts. But now let's talk about it. Ivan Pace Jr. has absolutely been living up to the hype. And after his game against the Raiders, man, I just love rooting for this guy because, his numbers were ridiculous. He had 13 tackles. He had the game-sealing interception. He had a PBU, and he also had a sack as well. And he's just been playing really good ball as of lately. And listen, I put this show kind of as a joke, but also kind of not. I'm a little pissed at Marcus Davenport. 1, because he hasn't played this entire season. And 2, he took number 0 away from Ivan Pace. We could have had Agent 0. Instead, now he's just rocking number 40, which, obviously is all cool. But, the fact that Marcus Davenport got to wear number 0 this year, and not Ivan Pace just irks me a little bit. So, listen, Davenport, you better give up number 0 next year if you are even on this football team, because I want to see Ivan Pace. I want to see Agent Zero back. It was the number he wore at Cincinnati, and he just looked sweet in it. But this is what Ivan Pace had to say after the game. It was a really cool quote, and I just want to share it with you guys. He said, "We are a brotherhood," talking about the defense. "We are a brotherhood out there. We have a strong bond, and we go out there and play every play. We needed stops or needed to hold them to field goals, and that's exactly what we did coming out of a bye week." And, yeah, that is 100% what they did. The defense absolutely played their ass off against the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, was it a combination of the Raiders being a very incompetent offense and just an overall incompetent franchise, but also it was Brian Flores and this defense absolutely showing up and showing out. So, I understand that, I guess there's a little bit of a negativity around Vikings fans, and we only put up 3 points. But what if we take the optimistic view? What if we say, yeah, we only put up 3 points, but we also shut a team out? And, the age-old saying, defense wins championships in the NFL. So, listen, show Ivan Pace some love. Type his jersey number down below. Type those 40s. I wish you were typing zeros, but type those 40s and show him some love. Before we get to any more and we dive into who's going to be QB1 for the Vikings against the Cincinnati Bengals, I do want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that is GameTime. GameTime is the best ticketing app out there, and it's the best seats, lowest prices guaranteed. And my favorite part about GameTime is the prices actually drop. They don't get higher, they actually drop as the events get closer. It's the lowest price guaranteed. You shouldn't be stressed out when you are buying tickets to whether it's your favorite music, comedy show, sporting event, or whatever it may be. If you guys are going to use or if you guys are planning on buying tickets, make sure you guys do get hooked up with GameTime. So download GameTime today. Use that code right there, VIKINGSCHAT, to get $20 off your first purchase. Download GameTime today. Use the code VikingsChat, and you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Anytime I'm buying a ticket, I use GameTime. And also, my favorite part about it, when you hold it up and you're looking at your seat, on the app, it will actually show you where you are going to be, or you show you your viewing experience on the app. So it's a super cool kind of touch that they have. And listen, I love using it. I'll put that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. But use the code VikingsChat at GameTime, and you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. So let's dive into it. Who should be QB1 for the Vikings versus Cincinnati Bengals? Listen, this is my whole take on the whole thing. It should be Nick Mullens. He should be QB1 for the Minnesota Vikings, and Jaren Hall QB2. Honestly, in my opinion, for the rest of the season, unless Mullens struggles. Like, let's just say Saturday comes around, and it's noon, and the Vikings take on the Bengals, kind of set the scene a little bit, and let's just say Mullens goes out there, throws 2 picks in the first half, and it's just looking like an absolute disaster class, then yes, you go to Jaren Hall. But I think in terms of if you want a quarterback that has played a lot of football in the NFL, and you just want a dude that's going to get the ball out on time and on target, he's not going to make the crazy throws. He's not going to take the deep post to Jefferson or whatever it may be unless it's wide open. But if you want a dude that would just keep us ahead of the sticks, because that was the problem with Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs just couldn't hit the 5-yard out. So the Vikings were consistently in second long, third and long. It was just so hard to obviously, consistently score points when you are putting yourself behind the sticks. I think Nick Mullens, I think he can keep us ahead of the sticks. I think he can keep our offense kind of in rhythm and in continuity because he's played a lot of ball in his career. I mean, he's thrown for over 5,000 yards. It's funny, actually, looking at these stats right now. If you compare these stats to Andrew Luck's stats in the first however many games, they're absolutely identical, which is pretty funny to think about. But, Nick Mullens, he's played a lot of football in his NFL career, and I think he could really be that, what Joe Flacco is doing in for the Cleveland Browns right now. I do really think Nick Mullens can do that. And listen, Mullens mania is here. Don't run away from it. Kind of embrace it because we've seen it. Tommy DeVito on the Giants, Joe Flacco on the Browns. There's so many quarterbacks that are hurt this year, and it just has this season feeling like it's 2017 again. And where the Vikings do have a really good defense this year, not as good as obviously that Mike Zimmer, Xavier Rhodes, Everson Griffin, Daniil Hunter defense that they had back in the day in 2017. I mean, that was one of the best defenses in the league, but it is starting to feel like 2017 again in terms of there is just chaos in around the NFL. There are a couple good top dogs, obviously in the Cowboys, Niners, Eagles, but even with like the Chiefs, like anybody in the AFC, you don't really know who the top dog is there. But listen, NFL is wide open this year. So embrace Mullens mania. You really never know what's going to happen, especially with this defense playing like this. I'll tell you what, with the way Brian Flores has this defense cooking, if we have to see the Lions in Detroit wild card weekend, I bet you they would not want that matchup. But that would be us playing them 3 times over the last 4 weeks. That would be nuts. That would be pretty crazy. But yeah, let me know. Pick a quarterback, type NM for Nick Mullens, or type JH for Jaren Hall. I'll be typing my NMs in the comments section. I just think it makes more sense. I think he's the better quarterback right now. I think the Vikings, hey, go try to win some games. Go try to win a playoff game, and this season will be a ton of fun. But thank you guys so much. The support on the channel has been great as of recently. So seriously, thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We'll see you guys next time. Skol Vikes.